students. Today we will discuss our next chapter, that is on environment. Our lecture is for contemporary political economy, semester 4, and this lecture would be from chapter 3. Okay, and the title of your chapter is Big Dams and Environmental Concerns. Now, if we talk about what do we mean by environment, so you might have heard or said so many times that political environment is good or bad, or say social environment is good or bad, or say family environment is always good. So, our colony, the environment of our colony is good, or it needs some kind or other improvement. Okay, or there are so many things. So environment simply is not limited to one aspect. Okay, there are various layers of environment, various layers, various definition of environment. But here in our syllabus, we will discuss the relationship between dam and environment. Here, environment doesn't mean political environment. Environment doesn't mean social environment or family environment and so on and so forth. Here environment is something which is related to our life. Okay, for example, all of us need good air, all of us need fresh air and water, clean air and water. So these are the basic requirement which one asks for his or her survival. Okay, now if we try to understand this discourse, what environment means, then we can say that the environment is the circumstances or objects or conditions by which one is surrounded. It means whatever surroundings we have, even if we don't see it or we don't feel it, but that surrounding is always there with us, is environment. We may not see very small insect while walking. Nowadays it is locked down, so we cannot walk, but earlier. So, or anything, but we are surrounded by so many things. Okay, that so many things are environment, is environment. Now, there is one other aspect of this environment as well. What is that? The environment is the complex of physical, chemical, right, and biotic factors such as climate and soil and living things, right? These are known as biotic factors. Now, all these, for example, physical, chemical, and biotic factors, they act upon as an organism or an ecological community and ultimately determine its form and survival. This is precisely what environment is. So we have to concentrate we will concentrate our lecture entirely on this aspect of environment. Okay, and not the other type of environment. There are varieties of environment which one can discuss, but our lecture will focus on big dams and environment. Now, what is the meaning of dam? So dam is something which is known as a barrier that stops or restricts the flow of water or underground stream. Okay, that restrict the flow of water. Now, generally these big dams are used for irrigation purpose, okay, human consumption, right, and industrial use, or for as far as their need of water is concerned, agricultural use, and navigability and hydropower. So these are the uses of dams. Except these uses, there are various negative aspects of having dams as well. Okay, we have seen so many cities are now under water, okay, because of these big dams, and we have lost 1,000 year of culture, 1,000 year old or many more years old civilization or human this thing culture and values and so on and so forth. Now all these cities where dams has been built now are under water, displacing the population to some other place by giving the same name, for example Tigri. Okay, so or we have seen Sardar Sarovar dam and displacement of many people in many states of India or any other dam throughout the world. See, people generally dam generally cause the displacement of people, and this results in variety of problems the displaced people face. Okay, again we will discuss it somewhere else, but not here, because our entire focus would be on dam and environmental concern, and not dam and human and dam and society and dam and polity and so on and so forth. So political environment and dam is a different topic. Political and social environment and dam is a different topic, and humans, civilization and dam is a different, human environment and dam is a different topic. Here we are focusing on the environment, which we have just given the definition. Okay, so now what is the impact of dam on, say, environment? So number one is soil erosion. See, one of the first problems which dams is with dams is the erosion of land, that we all know. Dams hold back the sediment load normally found in a river flow, the sediment flow, okay, sediment load, depriving the downstream of this. This is the entire outcome of all these structures while having a big dam. In order to make up for sediments, okay, the downstream water erodes its channels and banks. Now, because of this, or the very process, this entire process lower the river bed and threatens vegetations and river wildlife. So because of this entire dam structure, we see so many problems beginning from soil erosion. Second one is the reason why we have built a dam. Generally it is said that big dams or dams are built to prevent floods, but many ecosystems have experienced flooding, okay, and many animal species depend on the flood for various life cycle stages. Okay, flood is also important if you talk about some environmentalist. Now, what are these various life cycle stages? Reproduction, hatching, okay, and so on and so forth. Now, annual floods also deposit nutrients and replenish wetlands. A major example of soil erosion problem is Aswan Dam. Okay, so soil dam is soil erosion of soil is the major problem which is given by this dam. Okay, number second is species extinction. Now, fisheries become an increasingly important source of food supply, and more attention is being paid to the harmful effects of dam on many fish. We have seen it and marine population, marine fish population or sea food and so on and so forth. The vast majority of dams do not include proper bypass system for these animals or fish or seafood. Interfering, these big dams simply interfere with their life cycles and sometimes even forcing these species to extinction. This is the second and most dangerous problem of second and most dangerous problem because of having dams here. Now third is spread of disease. Obviously dam in tropical areas, if you see, due to their slow movement, are literally breeding grounds for mosquitoes, snails and flies. Okay, these are the vectors that carry malaria or some other dengue, river blindness and many other problem for the population. So this dam is also spread various types of disease which till date many scientists have failed to overcome, because that is going to happen in anyhow, because the speed or the movement is very slow, water movement is very slow, so it will provide a fertile ground to have mosquitoes, to have some other insects and so on and so forth, dangerous insects. Now third, next is change to earth rotation. There is a geophysicist in NASA, his name is Dr. Benjamin Fong Chao. He found evidence that large dams cause changes to the earth's rotation. This is the big concern. Big dams actually cause changes to the earth rotation because of the shift of water weight from ocean to reservations. Now generally in our earth, nature gives us ocean. Okay, so entire load of water is generally bared by the ocean, so earth maintains its balance. These large dams create a kind of disbalance between river and ocean, and these disbalance results in earth rotation, according to Dr. Benjamin Fong Chao. Now he also further says that the earth's daily rotation has apparently sped up 8 million of seconds since 1950. He said last that it is the first time human activity has been shown to have measurable effect on the earth motion. See, because of these big dams, even the earth motion of earth is under threat. You can imagine now. Next is sedimentation. Now it is the process by which larger sediments in water entering a reservoir are deposited as its upper end forming, okay, a delta, and steadily raising the level of upper reaches of reservoir. Okay, this causes flooding due to its bank water effect. And in the case of Sardar Sarovar Dam, this process shortens the utility of dam. So this sedimentation creates another major problem for environment, and we must think over it. Next is siltation. Now it is the outcome of silt being deposited at the bottom of that reservoir, which inevitably reduces the utility of the dam. Okay, in the case of these dams and all these things, there is a possibility of premature siltation, which decides the lifespan of reservoir. Siltation reduces the water storage capacity of the reservoir, undermines its effectiveness for power generation, irrigation and flood control, and renders its usefulness in the long term. So now siltation has become another challenge for the environmental concerns and for the environmentalist. Why? Because if you see the uses is very limited of this siltation, very limited uses. But if you see the impact, the negative impact on environment, it has a big and a very high negative impact on environment. So we have to think about this siltation issue or siltation concerns more. Now water logging is the next point, and if I'm not wrong, second last point. Now water logging, generally rich soils in the say for example state of Punjab and Haryana, these states are known as rich soils. These rich soils have been robbed for their use because of water logging. The IIS, Indian Institute of Science, estimates that 40% of the command area of Sardar Sarovar Dam will become waterlogged. This area contains black cotton soil, which are particularly prone to water logging under irrigation or due to high water retention capacity. Now soil become waterlogged and crop yields fall. This is the major concern which we have to think again and again to save our environment. Why? Because this water logging problem may affect our life in some way or other, or in various other aspects of our day-to-day life. We have just seen the larger impact of this water logging in very small thing. This Sardar Sarovar Dam, it will become waterlogged. Who is saying this? Indian Institute of Science. So we have to think about it, and we have to do something very concrete to have a positive result out of it. Now if I'm not wrong, last is this is the end of our lecture. Now if we see try to conclude this environmental concern, we see that the arid and semi-arid areas are incapable of handling large amount of water brought by irrigation. Okay, irrigation water has more saline content and adds more salt to the system, leading to the increase of various type of changes in the salt regime, okay, or various type of changes in nature of that particular area, or irrigation, and so on and so forth. So here changes in the salt regime can affect the entire ecosystem and disrupt breeding of fishes. Okay, we have to keep this in mind. Large areas on the river banks are likely to be affected by increased quality of salt after dam construction. So we have to control somehow, although the attention has never been paid or no one has taken it seriously, that how to control the increasing quality of salt after dam construction. In total, over 32,000 hectares of land have been submerged by Sardar Sarovar Dam, 30,000 of which is forest land and 11,000 hectares of agriculture land. So this much land we have used for dam construction. Okay, and salt problem is the another issue. Now if we see, after discussing all these things, dam versus environment, what we see, not only the life of human is negatively affected by these dams. For example, poor people or the people living in the village area or the people who simply do not have any resources, or those who are daily wagers and so on and so forth, big dams come as a misery to them. So there is one aspect. Second is, big dams impact very deep negative aspect on our environment. Okay, you can see that these big dams create a kind of panic among in the environment as far as soil erosion is concerned, or water salt in the water is concerned, or irrigation problem. Okay, and the life of various seafoods or fishes and so on and so forth. So what we see right now, the large dam, it may have some positive point, but at a larger point, these large dams create more problem for the environment than those of helping people at a large. Okay, so this is our lecture on environment and big dams. Our next lecture would be either on culture, that is media and television, or arms race and arms trade. Okay, keep in touch. Thank you very much.